And we are back. It is Sunday Brunch with Tom and Lynn here on KOCI 101.5 FM. We're going to talk about kids.
Kids and dogs.
Kids and dogs.
We're not talking about dogs today, but those are the two things that make people happy. Kids and dogs.
Big smile on all our faces. But one of the great long-term publications here in Orange County is Parenting OC, and we are pleased to welcome the editor-in-chief, Randy Tierney. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
And also Dan Nasitka, who is the publisher. Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. You're the Discovery Cube Director of Communications. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes.
What a great place.
This is what happens when you're driving on the 55 freeway to get here on time. Anyway, so I've got Dan and Randy here, and it's really nice to see you, but I'm really excited to talk about the event that you have coming up on March 5th. And this is going to be at the Discovery Cube. And for anyone who has kids and hasn't taken their kid to Discovery Cube,
they should have their kids removed. Removed from their house.
That should be.
It's that much fun.
No. I mean, it's so easy to get there, and it's. But you're having an event on March 5th, which is Sunday. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it? Because I'm looking at all of the different things going on here, and it looks like a great event.
Yeah. Well. Again, thanks for having us here.
Absolutely.
Although I'm a little disappointed with the food choices at the brunch.
Yeah.
I know. We got to get more food.
Where's the pile of shrimp and the
Sunday brunch
bottomless
is a little bit
champagne?
of a misnomer.
Hey, how about a couple more?
Maybe some French toast,
Yeah, exactly. Because, it is Sunday brunch. We do, and that's one of the goals is to actually get more restaurateurs on here pretty quick. But anyway, so tell us a little bit about March 5th, because it's just, there's going to be a lot going on.
Well, we're real excited. This is our 10th anniversary of the Jamboree. It's a summer planning opportunity for parents and families to come out. And we have 60 exhibitors, all focused on summer camp, learning programs, sports programs, and they'll all be out there at the Cube March 5th, 10 to 3. And while the parents are looking around the different opportunities for the summer, there's lots of things for the kids to do. We've got extreme game truck outside. We've got a reptile zoo. We've got a skateboard demo. And we've got our Cute Kid contest, which is...
that's so not fair.
Yeah.
What's going to happen there?
We already have about 100 entries, and I think we're going to have to cut it off. But we have 4 different age groups, and parents bring their cute kid out, and... from each of the age categories, the winner ends up on the cover of Parenting OC magazine.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's really fun to watch too. It's actually one of the bigger attractions at our Jamboree event.
It's cool looking at the exhibitors too, because I see that. When you look down this thing, that some of them are things that we take advantage of all the time, like sports league and clinics and things like that. People that are really into sports, understand those things. But here's one that says horse and cattle ranch.
That's the one I was looking at. Yeah,
you take your kid and you send them off to a horse and cattle ranch to.
There you go. And we have actually it works out serendipitously that we have several science-oriented camps.
That's
at
great.
Discovery Cube Science Center. In fact, our gold sponsors are Galileo camps and the new school in Orange County, Magnolia Science Academy. There's going to be a lot of choices and wonderful things to do. And parents, if you don't plan your summer now, it's only two and a half months away.
Really fast.
You're left without plans for your kids for the summer, and that's no fun at all for anybody.
Yeah, no. There's so much to consider when because your kids might be interested in science and surfing. So you really this is a great opportunity for them to kind of vet it. And now, do the kids come too and get to check it out, or is it mostly parents?
They do. I think it's the fun element. And this year with the Cube, there's so much that you could do at the Cube that. The Cube has offered a free child ticket for this day, and you can download that at parentingoc.com. So it's a great day to go to the event. It's a free event, and then go to the Cube and spend the rest of the day.
Well, let's jump in here and jump over to Dan just for a second.
Yeah,
Dan, sure. For those people that may have not been to the Cube for a little while, tell us what's going on over there and things that we need to find out about.
Sure. So Discovery Cube, I like to call it a theme park for the mind.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that.
If you don't know where Discovery Cube is, you cannot miss us if you're traveling north or south on Interstate 5. We are
the big cube.
Big black cube
I almost got in an accident looking at it one day.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're okay.
It's so cool looking.
So we're the big black cube that hangs over the 5 freeway. And the center itself has been around since 1998. We just recently completed a massive expansion that basically doubled our size. We opened just this past summer, June 2015. And really the Cube kind of focuses on 4 main initiatives, and those initiatives are STEM proficiency, science, technology, engineering, math, environmental stewardship, healthy living, and then early childhood learning, so like 5 and under. And through those core initiatives, we have different exhibits, we have different events, different programs that we get our message out to our guests, to our members, to school field trips, so on and so forth. And then I always kind of like to throw this out there because it's kind of an interesting stat. A lot of people come to the Cube, they have a great time, spend a couple hours there. But what a lot of people don't know is we have the 3rd largest science education outreach program in the country.
Oh my gosh.
And so we see roughly 250,000 students every year. We have a team of teachers that go out into Orange County, Los Angeles County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Ventura County, parts of San Diego County, and actually teach our science education outreach programs are in the classrooms. And so they're doing assemblies, they're doing live science demonstrations. So it's really, for as awesome as the Cube is, we have even greater impact outside of the walls of the Cube.
So that expansion, it's hard to believe, but you said that opened a year ago, June. So do you have some plans? So we've got this big event in March. Is there going to be a big celebration in June with the first anniversary of that expansion?
I'll have to talk to our CEO, see what we can drum up.
Yeah.
No plans.
This might be a no.
No plans yet. We had a pretty big party last June when we opened that expansion because it had been kind of a long time coming.
Oh, sure.
No, but we're just excited. We have a lot of great exhibits coming up in the future. Always great programming that we do. And also, about 14 months ago, we opened a second campus in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
In the Hanson Dam Recreation Area,
Cool.
Sylmar. And
Interesting area. That's a really challenging area. Very different demographic.
Different in certain parts, but also very similar to Santa Ana. We thought that it was a good fit for us at the time, and so.
How's it going up there?
It's going great. Yeah. Our 1 year productions was 180,000 visitors, and we had 220,000 come in our first year. So
that is amazing.
It's been great. But yeah, the Cube is it's a fun place where we don't kind of hit you over the head with the science. We kind of hide the peas in the mashed potatoes, as I like to say.
It's discovery for sure.
And we like to create these sort of themed environments where kids aren't just reading a text panel or having their parents read a text panel, but they're actually doing something. It's tactile learning.
You know what? Some of the outings that I remember most with my parents, because I grew up in Los Angeles, was La Brea Tar Pits, LA County Museum, the Science Center, and that was something that my brother and I, my parents exposed us to it early, and it became. And every now and then we'd be like, oh, we're going to La Brea Tar Pits again. But every time we got there, we always discovered something new. Sure. But that facility was even there, I think, is what's the most important aspect of all of this is where do people go to access this kind of activity and growth for their child without having to travel, 50 miles in one direction.
Randy, this seems like such a natural that OC Parenting would partner with somebody like the Discovery Cube because it's got to be a great partnership for both sides.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we both have the same initiative, same mission statement, if you will, which is to help create for the next generation, opportunities for enrichment and in education, just to get outdoors, to learn about science, and their approach that that science is fun and science is very approachable and a friendly thing to learn, is much the way it should be taught, to the younger kids, and so this is a great match for us, especially for this particular event. It's just that it's the alternative is you've got kids staring at screens and not very active.
But I mean, the thing that's so great about Orange County is today parents are so interested in getting their kids involved, and I see it all the time on Facebooks that family friends that are have families and things like that. I always see their kids. We just had ski week, and I see kids going off to camps and things like that.
Right.
The competition for the dollar today to get kids out doing stuff is, I would think, really competitive, and this really gives you an opportunity to kind of walk around the Discovery Cube on this day and find out a whole bunch of new things.
True, and also to meet the people, the actual camp directors who are going to be with your kid while you're not with them, and understand what they're about, and again build that level of trust there. Yeah, it's important to have the one-on-one that you don't get from advertising in a magazine.
I think too today with technology, just every day it seems like it just, even for us adults, it's hard to keep up with. But it's one thing to be able to use an iPad. It's a whole nother thing to conceive of the type of problem solving that it takes to invent something like that. It's two different concepts, and I think that's why science, math, all of that is so important. It's not just using the technology, it's actually what's going to be when we're long gone. The kids are going to be the ones that are taking it to that next level, but they have to have those skill sets.
Absolutely. Well, and it starts at a young age too. And so
very young.
One of our biggest beliefs at the Cube is we want to inspire children. We want to educate them in many different manners. But more importantly, we want to create lasting positive impact on the communities that we serve.
Dan, I would think it's easy for you, being an employee of the Cube, to know if you're hitting the stride or not, just by seeing the reaction of kids arrive at your facility.
Sure. Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
Fair to say?
I mean, I've been there almost 5 years now, and it never gets old. There's no true like staff entrance. There kind of is a staff entrance, but for a long time, because we were under construction, all the employees had to actually enter through the front doors of the facility to get back to our offices. And so it was an interesting time period because, a lot of times before the construction started, we did have our own staff entrance. You would just walk right in, you'd go straight to your desk and start working, and you'd not really see the field trips or the kids downstairs. But during that, year and a half or so that we were under construction, it was kind of a reminder of why we all love to work there and why it's such an inspiring place, is because, to your point, absolutely, you walk in and you see the kids roll off the school buses on a field trip, and they go inside, and all of a sudden they're immersed in this different world. That's not their desk. That's not just reading a textbook.
Sure.
They're running around in a safe manner and experiencing different exhibits all about science and different worlds. And so, it's absolutely. I don't want to say I take it for granted. Right. Because it's like you see the light bulb come on in a child's
Sure.
Yeah, that's the
brain,
best
basically.
moment.
It's
when
like, I get it. That
Yeah.
is how a cloud is made, or that is what condensation is.
Well, I think sometimes too is, a lot of our teaching comes in classrooms, and it's boring. I was talking to somebody recently, and I said, boy, if somebody wanted to teach me, I always struggled in math back in school. I said, if somebody wanted to teach me math in school, have me calculate a batting average, or figure out the slugging percentage, or whatever, because I was involved in sports and everything, and I think sometimes teaching is so standardized that for those people that don't fit into that, they struggle more.
Well, it's the peas and the potato that you were referring to, and so and it's weird that you and I both struggle with math. Maybe it's a coincidence, but my parents put a violin in my hands. Well, one of the things that you learn when you learn to read music are division and fractions, because a whole note becomes a half note, becomes a quarter note, becomes an eighth note. And so without saying, you're learning fractions, your little mind, as I learn to read music, I'm also learning
Absolutely.
those skill sets. So it is kind of, I like the peas and the potato
Hey,
analogy.
Randy, talk about Parenting OC. It's been around for a while. Talk about what you're trying to do from the editorial standpoint there for
how
people
things-
of OC.
Been around since 1985.
Right.
Enough for 2 generations.
Yeah.
But it started in 1985. So this is 31 years this year.
Wow.
I've been the publisher for 10 years, 11, I guess.
Good for you.
So
what do you try when you're sitting there in the editorial meetings at the start of each month? What are you trying to convey? And is your goal to reach the parents, the kids, both? What is it?
We're trying to reach the parents. Yes. We typically have a mix of stories on education and learning, but in child development and raising your child. But then we also have several probably a dozen pages in each issue just on things to do around OC with the family, which is important. And our website also has a lot of different opportunities for families to do things together.
And the website?
ParentingOC.com.
Great.
Yeah. And we have a great editor. In our next issue, we do something honoring all the teachers of OC, and we asked for nominations. We received 125 essays from principals around OC nominating their top teacher, and so we dedicate our issue to the teachers of Orange County. There's great stories in there. So that's coming up in March. And in April, we have a special needs issue. In May, then there's a tribute to moms and motherhood, and then June, fathers and fatherhood, and then we all through from February all the way through July, we're doing articles about activities and camps and things like that for children.
And then stepping back to the March 5th event, talk about the development of that. This is the 10th year and kind of the growth of it.
Right. Well, this is our biggest and best venue ever at Discovery Cube, and so we're really excited about that. In previous years, we've been at schools. We were at the fairgrounds for a few years, and it's always been, a nice event, mixture of family fun with this sort of exhibits in the same area of summer learning and summer camps and things like that. I really think this year we've kicked it up a notch, and it's having the Discovery Cube, as a partner in this, not only as a venue, but in the planning of it, and to inspire us to do more in the areas of science and things like that. I think it's really become something much more than it was in the past.
So if people,
we'll see. On March 5th, on March 5th, we'll see how everything goes off. But everything that we've done in our planning has just been is just really coming together well. So we hope it's a great day for everyone.
It sounds and looks like a great day with all the stuff listed.
Yeah, so if people want to get information or purchase tickets, they can go to the Parenting OC, and then with the Cube, is it better if they go to Parenting OC, or is there information also on the Discovery Cube?
So we do have information at discoverycube.org.
Okay.
But there's the same amount of information, if not more, on Parenting OC's website.
Awesome. Okay.
You could go to your website and then end up on our website,
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
go
right.
to the Cube's website, and so but yes, there'll be more about the event on our site ultimately. But if you go to Discovery Cube site, there will be a link also to ours. So either way.
Right. This is near and dear to me because I've been involved over the years in closely associated with special needs programs, and I see that's on the exhibitors list. Talk about the number of exhibitors and focus in on some of the because I see a lot of it's surf camps, horse and cattle ranches, science and technology, preschools, overnight camps, special need programs. Talk about some more specific.
Well, just in a more general sense, first of all, special needs is something that every camp has to have an understanding of how to deal with children who maybe are ADD or ADHD or bipolar or whatever it might be, and they're all especially the camps that are credentialed all have qualified personnel to deal with those sorts of things. So most all camps are available to most children, but there are some camps that focus on that have an emphasis on that or have summer programs like that, like Stepping Forward. It's increasingly been, these things are in the past 10 years been diagnosed much more. There's a lot more focus and special attention to, especially special learning needs, and so camps are coming up and specializing in this sort of thing, which is great.
Yeah, because it keeps kids integrated with the other kids instead of going off into wherever.
When it's possible, that's the best approach.
Exactly.
So the event runs from, I think it said 10 to 3 on Sunday, March 5th.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me at the end of the day what
Saturday.
Or Saturday. I'm sorry, Saturday, March 5th. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. Yeah.
Tell me at the end of the day, Randy, what at 3:05 when the program's over, what determines your success factor?
That nobody's left.
Okay.
Hopefully everyone's still there and we have to chase them out of the place.
And how many exhibitors do you expect that day?
What was 60 exhibitors?
Wow, that's a lot.
And then on top of that, just the other things to do in entertainment like that. There's several different attractions. But I mean, the Cube itself, it's hard to say that, and because the Cube has so many attractions, exhibits, and Dora the Explorer will be going on, and so it's a full day for sure.
I like the exhibit where you mash your face into the little beads and it.
Yeah,
like,
the pinwall.
Yeah, the pinwall.
Classic.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, I remember that. My daughter's now.
You like sports. You'd like the science of hockey.
Science of hockey with the Anaheim
You put
Ducks.
on the gear, and then the puck comes flying past you.
I just think there's so many different opportunities for teaching these days that are out of the, the everyday.
Ballpark,
Out of the ballpark. That's
so
good.
to speak.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for coming in. We're wrapping up our last couple of minutes. Any concluding thoughts? Just everybody go on to parentingoc.com or discoverycube.org, right?
Yeah, you
get
can
more
download that
information.
free child admission ticket to the Cube from parentingoc.com. And
Perfect.
Saturday, March 5th,
we'll
10
see
to
you out
3,
there.
Discovery Cube. To 2500 North Main Street. Everybody's seen it, but if you're driving north on the 5,
you can't miss
it's
it.
right to the right-hand side. It's the big cube that kind of sits up on its corner.
Is
That's correct.
And the rocket's still there, right? Or has that moved?
Rocket's still there.
Yeah, so rocket or Cube?
Dinosaur's still there in the back.
Right.
So make it out. Support Parenting OC.
They got it all.
Support the Discovery Cube. I'm sure, Dan, that your group. This is great for your group because you get more exposure, and the Discovery Cube is probably something that operates totally on private funding or donations.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple revenue streams, but absolutely, we are one of those destinations that's competing with everything else in Southern California, including the beaches and the mountains. So yeah, absolutely, guests and attendance is a big part of what we're striving to get every day. And so yeah, come on out Saturday, March 5th. The Jamboree is going to be real fun, and then the Cube is there for you to learn and run around, and
even the adults will like it. I mean, I love going in there.
I know.
It's
You know what?
fun.
You know what the problem with me is I took my kid back when she was young.
Yeah.
I took her, and I'd have to push her out of the way so I could do. I could participate.
I can
so
just picture that.
we'd walk up to something, and she'd say, "Daddy, let me stick my face in the pens." I go, "Get out of the way! I want to do mine first." So it was. Anyway, you guys have a lot of fun. Support OC or Parenting OC in this great event.
Yeah.
Go out and find out what there is for your kid to do this summer. That's going to be it.
Yeah, it was a fast show.
Yeah, and I'm glad you drove back in from the desert this morning
for the hour.
to join us.
It took me 2 hours to get here.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's worth it.
Okay, we'll be
Love the
back
show.
next week with more of Tom and Lynn's Sunday Brunch. If you're looking for something to do next Sunday or Saturday, we remind you. I keep saying Sunday. Next Saturday, we remind you to go out to the Parenting OC Kids Jamboree at the Discovery Cube. This is Tom and Lynn's Sunday Brunch. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks so much for listening.
You've been listening to Sunday Brunch on 101.5 KOCI, LPFM, Newport Beach, Costa Mesa.
Broadcasting from Newport Beach, Costa Mesa to the universe. 101.5 KOCI, LPFM.
Yeah.